Well, it's taken a long time to get to this point. I mean, biocontrol is not new, but what we're seeing is that there's two major things going on. First is that the science has changed dramatically. So we have new tools like the tools of molecular biology, genomics, synthetic biology, and other things, as well as precision technology, big data, drones and real-time monitoring of pests and pathogens that are converging technology and biocontrol, pest management. So we're going to see an acceleration of the ability to improve the use of biocontrol on the one hand with the new tools, both in the laboratory and in the field. Number two, there's an increasing education and awareness of farmers of these tools, but that's where our biggest problem lies. So still probably in most surveys around the world, probably about half of all farmers surveyed will say they don't have enough information, they're not educated, or they're not aware of biological tools for pest management and plant health. So we still have a lot of work to do to improve that. But an example is in Brazil, where there's very rapid growth of biologicals, and it's 26% compounded annual growth rate. And it's now the biggest biological market in the world. Why is that? Because the government put extension specialists or these outreach experts into each state to help the growers understand how to use these products and these biological tools. And without that, it was a complete failure to begin with. Yes, but the regulatory system in the EU is changing too slowly. So what's changing, yes, is that the EU has reduced dramatically the number of active ingredient pesticides and has targets for further reduction by 2030, as well as reduction of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. But the regulatory system changes slowly. Biostimulants is getting better. Now we have one system in Europe, so there's a lot more biostimulants. But on the biocontrol side, there's still too much of a chemical mindset in regulating these products. So the IBMA, which is the Association of Biocontrol Manufacturers, is working very hard to try to change this, because without accelerating the biocontrol products, the farmers are going to be left without tools. And of course, they are very unhappy with this right now. And yes, the big companies, the big giants are getting into this area, and they are integrating biologicals into their portfolio. Some are understanding that they're not good at the early development, but they're much better at the late development and market access. So you're seeing that many of these big companies are setting up centers of innovation and venture capital groups to tap into all the startups, the new entrepreneurial and innovations of startups, while they're licensing products for the later stage. Low-risk products should have an accelerated pathway and faster evaluations, as I said, to bridge the gap, because farmers are losing their products. So, but yes, it is still very bureaucratic and difficult to get a biological control product, biopesticide, through the EU. So again, there's still a chemical mindset. My own experience is we have one product that is an extract of a plant that is actually eaten by humans, and it's now 10 years and we still don't have it registered. So this is a problem. It's extremely good biofungicide and that growers could use. And so yes, and again, there's organizations like the IBMA working on this, but we need faster action to bridge the gap that farmers are experiencing. Well, you've hit on a very big trend, and that is the convergence or the merging of precision technology and biocontrol or pest management. And this is a rapid, big trend. And so, for example, you mentioned drones. In the United States, where drones are certainly allowed, strawberry growers in California, and I have visited some, will be applying beneficial insects, predatory mites, by drone. this is wonderful. It's so much more efficient than the way they used to do it by hand before. So, but then also there's a lot of companies that are working on precision and drone spraying, but not just by drones, but there's many new smart sprayers or electric robotic weeding machines. And so there's no question that tech, precision tech, digital ag is merging with biocontrol. There's another example, a companies, one I advise, is using real-time PCR, polymer chain reaction, PCR, to rapidly detect in the field when a fungus, downy mildew or powdery mildew spore is there in the vineyard or in the lettuce field. And so real time, farmer can detect when the spores are there. So then they can spray their biocontrol much more closer to when the spore is there and get much better results with the biological products. And also reduce the number of chemical sprays, because right now they spray just on calendar, prophylactically. And so the growers are very happy because they can reduce their sprays by 50%. So this is just at the beginning stages of the convergence of precision technology and biocontrol. I'm very excited about that. The fact that biocontrol tools can be used right up to harvest, don't leave any chemical residues, and are exempt from Codex maximum MRLs, maximum residue levels, has driven the growth of biologicals to date. So one of the biggest reasons why biologicals are sold today is that residue management. So especially because residues are used as non-tariff trade barriers around the world. So if you're a fruit grower in Europe and you need to ship to Japan or Korea, they worry about residues. So use a biocontrol right before harvest. If there's a late pest or disease, that's an excellent way. So yes, if there was a biological used for the last spray in every crop, the market for biologicals would be very, very large. So, but that is what we call the low-hanging fruit. Pun intended there, for biologicals is always the first choice in fruit and vegetable production, is to use that biological for residue management. Yes, I've spent the last 15 years trying to work on a bioherbicide, and it's not an easy challenge. It's very technically challenging because the chemical herbicides are so inexpensive and they work so well on so many different weeds. But as we know, there are issues with the perception of chemical herbicides and their safety, as well as weeds have developed resistance around the world. And this weed resistance is a big problem. So I think we're going to see a renaissance or a resurgence of new work on bioherbicides. It's not going to be easy, but it's a really good opportunity for entrepreneurs and new startups and the younger generation of entrepreneurs younger than me to really tackle this problem. But it also needs to be a private-public partnership. Because of the high risk of developing a bioherbicide, I think there needs to be some public monies dedicated to reducing the risk and bridging the gap, to get some sustained funding to get a product to a point where the risk is reduced, and then it would be licensed and to a company for commercial, and also for then that investors would jump in because they see the risk lower. So, but I'm still very optimistic, and the meeting that we're having here today in Bari is giving me hope that there's so much creativity and ideas and innovation to this area of bioherbicides. Thank you very much. I always love to talk about my favorite area of biocontrol. It's my life, and I still think we have a great future.